Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. In the interest of your safety and enjoyment of today's events, please listen to the following message. According to New York State law, there is no smoking in the event center. For your safety, please note that fire exits are clearly marked by exit signs. Kindly take a moment to identify the location of the fire exit nearest you, keeping in mind that it may be behind you. In the event of an emergency, an alarm will sound and you should calmly and safely exit the building at that time. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. In the interest of your safety and enjoyment of today's events, please listen to the following message. According to New York State law, there is no smoking in the event center. For your safety, please note that fire exits are clearly marked by exit signs. Kindly take a moment to identify the location of the fire exit nearest you, keeping in mind that it may be behind you. In the event of an emergency, an alarm will sound and you should calmly and safely exit the building at that time. Thank you.
Second thing, anyone who's using a BU rental instrument, what you want to do when we're done, all of the stuff that's here gets moved against that wall where they're taking pictures. So you can just take that instrument and just start a stack of those instruments, the ones that need to be sent back to the Fine Arts, and you know who you are. Just take care of that, and I'll assume that it'll all show up, and I'll put it away next week. just to make sure that you were awake, kind of puts you on your toes, but I liked it, so no faster, but just be ready for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. In the interest of your safety and enjoyment of today's events, please listen to the following message. According to New York State law, there is no smoking in the event center. For your safety, please note that fire exits are clearly marked by exit signs. Kindly take a moment to identify the location of the fire exit nearest you, keeping in mind that it may be behind you. In the event of an emergency, an alarm will sound and you should calmly and safely exit the building at that time. Thank you.
am Grand Marshal Fernando Guzman, and I would like to call to order the commencement of the Harpur College of Arts and Sciences of the State University of New York at Binghamton. Everyone, please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your hats. We welcome you to join vocalist Lauren Nash Silverstein in singing the national anthem. Please be seated. Harpur, 17, you did it!
As president of Binghamton University, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the Harpur College Arts and Sciences ceremony. This is a special ceremony where we bring together our baccalaureate candidates for graduation, as well as their families and friends. Before I proceed with our program, I would like to welcome Catherine Grant Madigan, Chair of the Binghamton University Council, who is joining us today. I would also like to introduce our other special guests. They will stand as I call their names. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Donald Neiman, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Brian Rose, Vice President for Student Affairs. Valerie Hampton, Chief Diversity Officer. Joanne Navarro, Vice President for Operations. Terrence Deek, Dean of the Harpur College of Arts and Sciences. Curtis Kendrick, Dean, University Libraries. Gloria Meredith, Founding Dean of the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Michael McGough, Senior Vice Provost for Strategic and Fiscal Planning. Pamela Mission, Platform Party Marshal, Faculty Advisor to the President. Gary Keibel, President of the Alumni Association. Nathan Englander, Honorary Degree Recipient and Alumni Award Recipient. Elise Thornley, Vice Chair, Professional Staff Senate. Please join me in applauding these special guests. Let me also recognize all of the esteemed faculty members who have mentored and guided our graduates. Your efforts have been crucial to the intellectual growth and achievements that we celebrate today. Will all faculty on the stage and in the audience rise? Please join me as we applaud their support of and dedication to the success of our students. I would also like to recognize our graduates who have earned doctoral degrees, the highest degree conferred by the university. Some of our graduates are in attendance today and are seated with the faculty on stage. They were hooded and degrees were conferred last night at Friday night at the doctoral ceremony. Please stand to be recognized. And I would also like to thank the Binghamton University Wind Symphony, our vocalist, and the Broome County Celtic Pipes and Drums for their participation in today's celebration. This is a joyous time for us all. However, in a campus as large as our university, it happens that nearly every year there are students, staff, and faculty who have passed away over the course of the academic year. Our campus is a close-knit community, and we grieve the loss of our young and talented students and of our experienced and dedicated faculty and staff. Please join me in a moment of silence in remembering them. Thank you. Well, I'm in my 5th year as president of this great institution. I guess I'm either a super senior or first-year graduate student. But over these 5 years, our commencement ceremony has become my favorite activity of the year. When I see the sense of pride that each of you has in this accomplishment, I can't help but reflect on my own experience when I received my diploma. What I remember was a tremendous sense of accomplishment, as well as relief in completing a long and taxing job. I felt as if I had climbed a mountain and could now look out on a future filled with opportunities. This degree and the knowledge and talents that it represents will enable you to go far. You have proven that you have the broad perspectives to understand and to empathize, that you have the ability and the tenacity to work through difficult challenges, and that you have the vision and ingenuity to develop innovative solutions to our world's problems. As graduates, the possibilities open to you have increased exponentially. Yet, as my mother told me when I graduated many years ago, it's not the degree that is important, but what you do with it that matters. So I'm excited to think about what your future holds for you and for our world. However, before you take your first steps into that future, I hope you will take some time to savor your accomplishments and especially to reflect on what this means to your friends and your family. Share your happiness with them. Introduce them to your professors. Take a walk through the nature preserve. Take some pictures and soak up some sun on the Peace Quad. 10 or 20 years from now, when you reflect on your time at Binghamton, these are the people and places that will mean the most to you. And tonight, go to a good restaurant. Mom and Dad are paying, and enjoy a long meal in celebration. But most of all, be sure to tell everyone how much their support means to you. Give everyone a big hug, and before you sleep, be sure to think about all the great moments, the signposts that led up to today. The future starts tomorrow, but today, let's just relax and have fun. You've earned it. It's now my pleasure to introduce Provost Donald Neiman.
Good afternoon, Harpur. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Good afternoon. All right. This is a time of celebration. You have accomplished so much, and today is the day to celebrate it. It's my pleasure to welcome you to commencement and to be among the first to congratulate you, members of the Harpur College class of 2017. Congratulations. You are a remarkable group of students. At the time you applied to Binghamton, you demonstrated that you had the academic ability to succeed at one of the best universities in the United States. Since you have arrived on campus, whether you came as a freshman or a transfer student, you've not only shown that you're very bright, you've demonstrated that you're hardworking, intellectually curious, and eager to make the most of what this great university has to offer. You've also shown that you have a great sense of humor, like to have fun, and care about serving others. You embody the balance that makes Binghamton University such a wonderful place to work and to study. It has truly been a pleasure to have you here as our students. Congratulations on your many accomplishments, and I would ask that you please stay in touch with us and keep us apprised of the many, many accomplishments that lie in your future. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce your Dean, Terry Deek, Dean of Harpur College of Arts and Sciences.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'd like to welcome all of the families who have entrusted us with the education of your offspring. I'd like to welcome the graduates who are eager to leave Binghamton University and get on with their lives. I'd like to thank the faculty and the administration for all of their hard work in what they've contributed to your education, and of course the staff who have worked tirelessly to put this event together today. It's really been awesome. So I have to say, when I was putting together some ideas about what I could say up here, I did what every good husband would do. I consulted with my wife. And I said, listen, I'd like to try and be a little bit funny up there. And she said, oh, honey, the only thing funny about you is the way you look. And so my response, of course, was exactly what it should have been, which is, that solves it. I'm wearing the gold robe. So, well, in all seriousness, welcome to Binghamton and congratulations on commencement here today. I thought I'd just take a minute and talk a little bit about what a liberal arts degree is and where it came from. Harpur College of Arts and Sciences was originally founded in 1946 as Triple Cities College, which was a part of Syracuse University at the time. Then in 1950, when the State University of New York system was incorporated, we became affiliated with the SUNY system. The college was, of course, built in the tradition of liberal arts and science, which broadly writ means that our degree programs include strange curricular requirements originating from a wide range of disciplines and areas of concentration, everything from aesthetics to globalism, many different areas that might have some of you, particularly in the neuroscience majors, asking what is the relevance of this. The point here is that, these are perplexing things that maybe students don't always understand, sometimes our faculty don't always understand, but the intent of a rich and distributed curriculum across the arts and sciences is not simply to imbue knowledge, but rather to promote understanding, and that's what we hope that we've accomplished in the last few years with you. In doing so, our goal is not just to educate students, but also to prepare our youth to become citizens of the world. And while we enjoy watching our graduates walk across the stage to acknowledge the blood, sweat, and tears you've put into earning your degrees, we're most proud of what is to come for you. But here's a cautionary note. We have a tendency to internalize our degrees and our majors in a way that helps to define us as a person. But this should not become a strict definition for you or your future. It's instead a permission slip for you to explore many different career possibilities over the course of decades to come. We hope that you will do that effectively. It's in fact what I consider to be the greatest gift of a bachelor's degree from Harpur College of Arts and Sciences, that you're prepared to thrive in a diverse range of careers and to be conversant on a large array of topics to help you succeed in life. In fact, many of our distinguished alumni have followed very unconventional paths. Some of them we've celebrated this weekend, including people who have worked in, majored in biology and political science, but then gone on to careers in finance. We've got Nathan Englander here today, who I'll introduce in a moment, who is an award-winning author and was an English major. Ruben Santiago Hudson, another graduate from our theater program, was nominated for 6 Tony Awards recently. Seriously, 6 Tony Awards. This from Binghamton University. This is amazing. These are just a few examples of what you can accomplish with a degree from Binghamton University. So with that said, it's now my distinct pleasure to introduce one of our honorary degree recipients and alumni award recipient, Nathan Englander. There he is. Alumnus, translator, and award-winning author, Nathan's work explores the tension between the sacred and the secular in modern Jewish culture. As a translator, he's made religious texts more accessible to both believers and non-believers, using humor and horror, history and surrealism, drawing on the personal and political. Nathan inhabits the space in between, bridging important divides in our society. Nathan, your writing teaches us all what it means to be human. Nathan, forward to hearing your remarks.
Hey everybody. Thanks to President Stanger and everyone on this stage, and to all my teachers at Binghamton, including and especially Professor Liz Rosenberg, who's here today. And of course, I want to thank all of you at the same time that I wish you a huge congratulations and a big fat mazal tov on your graduations. It's a long time, so yeah, 30 years ago when I first set foot on this campus, there is literally no way I could have pictured myself standing up here addressing all of you. And to be open and honest, I want to tell you the only thing back then I could have told you for sure is this. If you were going to see my face on the Jumbotron in the Bearcats gym, it was 100% not going to have anything to do with sports. Anyway, but I'm here. Anyway, I want to say that the honor I've been given not only comes from my alma mater, and this is super important to me, it comes from a public university. As a product of state schools, both for my undergraduate and graduate degrees, I can't tell you how much I am thankful for and deeply believe in the mission of our public education system. Without Binghamton, without public education, I wouldn't have been able to study at the level that I did. I'd never have had any of the opportunities to achieve that have brought me here today. I'd have slipped through the cracks for sure. I'd never have had the chance to pursue my dreams, and that is true. Looking back, I can tell you that it's not only the content of that education, not only the knowledge imparted, but the community among which I made that journey that was essential. And during this time where connectivity, and I'm not talking about 4G or the internet, but to those around us has become so deeply dissociated, where human interaction has been transformed into an Amazon package waiting outside our doors. At this time where empathy for others, for those in need, and I mean whether that need is for education or sanctuary, healthcare, or any kind of helping hand, is being treated as anything other than society's singular imperative obligation, its very reason for being. I want us to take this moment to acknowledge the community in which we sit right now. All of us woven together, a room 5,000 strong. It's wonderful, it's impossible, and yet here we are sharing a dream realized. And that's what makes it so special. Because today's joy is a shared joy, and today's success is a shared success. And let our joint embrace of the Binghamton community be a lesson we can take to all communities through which we will move. Of course, I'm not going to undermine each of your singular and unique achievements. We sit here together, but each one of you graduates has also gotten here fully and completely on your own. And if I'm supposed to share any advice, any wisdom, and I literally stand before you cloaked and hooded like the ghost of Christmas future, but I want to tell you what I wish I'd understood better back when I graduated, back when I wanted to do something that I was sure was impossible. I came so close to not even trying because I didn't feel I had permission, because I didn't know where to get a license, because I thought no one real gets to do the thing I want to do most. So by the power vested in me by literally no one at all, I'd like to grant you all permission, and I'm giving everyone in this room license. And I also want to touch on a statistic that almost stopped me before I got started. 1 in a million, 1 in a billion, those kind of dreams, those are now, in my opinion, great odds, because you individually, whatever your goals, are indeed just one. So 2 in a million is already more space than you're ever going to need. For the world to make room for just one more writer, one more doctor, one more astronaut or accountant does not sound like such a tall order at all. And honestly, this is straight true advice, I'd put my money on the person who is trying her hardest and giving her all to achieve that secret want over the person uninvested taking the safer route. This is your time to pursue your goals, your time to fail at them, and to paraphrase Beckett, to try again and fail even better. And if already paraphrasing, I'll move on to and close with a quotation from Doris Lessing. Whatever you're meant to do, do it now. The conditions are always impossible. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. That was perfect. Well, not in your program is the next speaker. We are honored to welcome United States Senator and Senate Minority Leader Charles Schumer to this Harpur II ceremony. Over the years, Senator Schumer has worked tirelessly on behalf of Binghamton University, most recently in helping us secure long overdue funding from a federal agency. Senator Schumer also has played an instrumental role in obtaining funds for our NextFlex Flexible Hybrid Electronics Manufacturing Institute and the Kauffman Southern Tier Incubator. He's a strong supporter of our entire community, and we deeply appreciate him taking the time out of his busy schedule to be here to speak to our graduates. He's always busy, but his new duties as Senate Minority Leader have made this an exceptionally busy year for him. Despite this, he continues to place Binghamton high on his radar, and we are delighted to welcome him here today. Senator Charles Schumer, Chuck, as he prefers to be called. Yeah. Come on up here. Here he is.
Well, thank you very much, President Stenger. And first, let me thank you for making Binghamton University, you, the faculty, the staff, all the way down to the people who clean up the floors late at night. You have made this one of the best institutions of higher learning, one of the best undergraduate educations, not just in New York and not even just in America, but in the world. Job well done. So it's my honor to address the members of the platform, the friends and families of the graduates, but most of all, you, the class of 2017, Binghamton University, congratulations. Now first, I'd like to announce my class gift. As you know, it's hard to pay for college and graduate school. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. But what about the middle class? So a few years ago, I wrote a law, it's now on the books, that says you or your parents, whoever paid for college, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes to help defray the cost of tuition for every year of college and every year of graduate school, provided, wait, there's always a provided in Washington, provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, for those of you who come from families who make below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad, whoever paid for college, takes that credit. Last year, about a quarter of all the people who are entitled to didn't take it because it's relatively new. And by the way, if you happen to forget, you can fill out a simple form with the IRS and get up to $7,500 back in the mail. Not bad. Now, what happens if you come from a family that makes above $200,000 a year? God bless you. I'd like to say a word to the moms and dads. I know how you feel. A few short years ago, my wife Iris and I sat where you did, watched our daughter Jessica come up on the platform, get her diploma, and become an adult before our very eyes. For us, it was one of the greatest days of our life, and I'm sure it's the same for you. So moms and dads, congratulations, job well done. And one more word of thanks. We're having a great time here this afternoon, but there are young men and young women our age, your age, not mine, I think I'm young, but I'm not so young. But there are young men and women your age who are in our armed forces. They're all around the globe, some of them in very dangerous places like Iraq and Afghanistan, defending our freedom and risking their lives. Let's have a round of applause for them as well. And now to this great class of 2017. You're graduating at a time of enormous change across the country, across the globe. It's an era of profound economic change, profound social change, and the world is moving so very, very fast. In the old days, you graduated from college and the odds were pretty high. You'd have the same job or work in the same field for the next 40 years. That's not so true anymore. Many of you will have several jobs, even several careers. Along with these economic changes, the internet has put so much information at your fingertips that it's sometimes hard to figure out what's important and to distinguish between what's true and what isn't. Even around the world, there have been such changes. A generation ago, words like terrorism and suicide bombing were unheard of. But the good news is this: your generation is perhaps better equipped than any generation that's come before to adapt to these changes, to overcome the obstacles they present and seize the opportunities they afford, to pursue your passions and maybe even accomplish big things. Right now, though, sitting in your seats, you may not be exactly sure what's going to come next. With the world changing so quickly, it's understandable that sometimes you feel like you're jumping into an abyss. But the key, graduates, is not to fear the unknown. Embrace it. Relish it. Soak up every possibility it has to offer. Now, how do I know? Because I remember these feelings myself when I was graduating from college. When I was seated at college graduation, several decades back, I had learned that I had just won a scholarship to travel all around the world, all expenses paid for a whole year. For me, it was an opportunity of a lifetime. I had never been out of the country before. But at the same time, I met a girl and I fell in love. Aww. So I had to decide. Do I go around the world for a whole year on the all-expense-paid scholarship? Or do I stay home with the girl, my first true love? Class of 2017, what would you have done? President Stenger, the class is divided. I stayed home with the girl. Don't clap, you romantics over there. The story continues. That summer, she went on a brief vacation, and I went to the airport to meet her on her return. As soon as she got off the plane, I saw by the look on her face something was the matter. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was. Who's clapping over there? She was very nice. Anyway, I said to myself, I was sitting there, no scholarship, no trip around the world, no girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. You're never going to make anything of yourself. You may as well hang it up. Give up now. That's it. It's over. And I stayed in my house, actually, for several months and moped around and felt sorry for myself. But somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and moved forward. And a few years later, I found myself seated at graduation once again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad I was not going to join the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them I loved politics. I told them my dream was to run for office. My parents, as you could imagine, were shocked. And my mother was particularly disappointed. You see, I came from a working-class family. My father was an exterminator, never went to college. They didn't have much money. And the law firm was paying $400 a week, which in those days was more money than my family had ever seen. But my dream was to run for public office, and so that November, against very long odds, I ran for the New York State Assembly, and I had 3 opponents. There was the party machine candidate, there was a neighborhood activist, and then there was my mother, who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So as she said, I'd get this dumb idea of being a politician out of my big, thick head. Well, graduates, a few years earlier, I sure didn't get that girl. But that November, I won the election, and the rest is history. So, to this great, great class of 2017, and on this day of your great achievement, my advice to you is take the risk. Don't let the fear of failure deter you, even though the world is changing and is so different. For those of us who have gotten older and look back on life, one of our great regrets is often the what-ifs. What if I had only done this? What if I had only done that? So my advice to the class of 17 is very simple. Go for it. You're about to cast off on the unknown, into the unknown, and sure enough, it can seem very scary. But you've had great assets, one of the best educations that any person your age can get, families who will have your backs through thick and thin no matter what happens. So, garner up the courage, garner up the strength, put aside your doubts, take a chance, and if you do, it is my hope, it is my prayer, and indeed, it's my confidence that you will find true joy and true success. To this great class, BU 2017, congratulations. Good luck. Godspeed, and don't forget, go for it.
Senator, thank you for all you do for Binghamton, our community, our state, our country, and our world. I'm pleased to introduce Gary Keibel, President of the Alumni Association Board. He would like to share congratulations on behalf of our Alumni Association.
Thank you, President Stenger, and congratulations to the class of 2017. I'd ask that you all now please rise as Lauren Nash Silverstein and the University Wind Symphony performs the Harpur Alma Mater. The lyrics can be found on page 33 of your commencement program.
May honor crown thy heritage.
Please be seated. On behalf of the Binghamton University Alumni Association, it's my pleasure to congratulate you on your fantastic accomplishments. And to celebrate this very special moment, I'm pleased to give each and every one of you a free yet very valuable present today: lifetime membership in the Binghamton University Alumni Association. You're welcome. This is something truly valuable. You are now a member of an organization with more than 127,000 members in all 50 states and over 100 countries. Your Alumni Association is one of the most important professional and social organizations you will ever join. Believe me, it's a hot ticket. We have almost 4,000 new members joining this weekend alone. I'm sure you've walked around campus at one point or another wearing a Binghamton sweatshirt or hat. As you move on from school today, I encourage you to continue to wear Binghamton on your sleeve. You are now an emissary and ambassador for Binghamton. Your success reflects on the school and other alumni, and the success of other alumni reflects on you. Among our many accomplished alumni are CEOs and senior management at leading corporations, leaders in the financial and legal industries, the most talented engineers, teachers, nurses, social workers, and professionals of all kinds, as well as media personalities, movie stars, and even a United States congressman. Does anyone out there think they can accomplish the same thing? Yeah, come on. I know you can do it. I look forward to the day when there's a poster of you on campus as an accomplished alumnus. So as you graduate today, I ask you to take 3 very important steps. Number 1, make sure that you are always digitally connected to Binghamton. Like us on Facebook, join our LinkedIn groups, follow us on Instagram and elsewhere, and visit the alumni page on the Binghamton University website to make sure your information is always up to date in our alumni directory, Be Connected. We can't find you for opportunities if you don't first find us. Number 2, don't be a stranger. The Alumni Association holds over 70 events around the country each year. Sign up, show up, and have some fun with your fellow alumni. And number 3, make new Binghamton connections. When you come across another Binghamton graduate, use that common bond as an opportunity to open a door. Tell older alumni how amazing our campus looks. I'm giving the same message to all graduates this weekend. You and I are now connected forever. I'm looking forward to connecting with my new 4,000 best friends. You're a Bearcat for life, and I'm honored to be in the same alumni association as you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Gary. This is very nice. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Khadijah Collins, the 27... Woo! Yeah! All right. Khadijah Collins is the 2017 Harpur College of Arts and Sciences commencement speaker for us today. She's graduating with a degree in integrative neuroscience, my home discipline. Thank you very much. She's spent time as a resident assistant, a REACH intern, historian and youth counselor for the Black Student Union, as well as a volunteer mentor for the Juvenile Urban Multicultural Program. Khadijah will be pursuing a career in medicine upon graduation. Please welcome to the podium, Khadijah Collins.
Good afternoon, parents, professors, distinguished guests, and friends. Welcome to the Harpur College Liberal Arts and Sciences Commencement. As we come together to celebrate this momentous occasion, I would like to offer a life philosophy that I developed a few years ago. This philosophy has gotten me through my rigorous coursework here, as well as just life in general. The concept of failure is often a scary one that sends us into a panicked frenzy. I mean, I can't blame us. The word itself has a bad connotation. We've all been conditioned from such a young age to fear and avoid failure. We've all felt the sting of failure when it comes to feelings of defeat, insecurity, and frustration. We all remember that test that didn't go as planned, no matter how long you studied for it, or that research project that just wouldn't give you cohesive results, or that interview that didn't show our true potential. But today, I encourage you all to embrace failure. After all, it is the foundation of success. Believe me, I know how crazy that sounds. You all probably think I've been sniffing too many chemicals in organic chemistry lab. Shout out to my neuroscience majors. But I promise you I'm fine. Allow me to explain. It's all about a change of perspective. Failure is an essential part of life. It reveals a strength and passion you may not have known existed before. Failure allows you to learn from your mistakes so that you can become better. Failure is an obstacle that can always be overcome, and if you are willing to put in the work to overcome it, you will be successful in whatever you choose to do. As a matter of fact, I remember my very first lesson in failure. I was about 6 years old, and my parents had taken me to the park after school. They probably don't remember this. I was an adventurous young girl, always jumping and climbing on things, and this day I decided that I wanted to jump across the park benches. Now there must have been 4 feet in between each bench, but I was determined to jump across each one. And there I was, enjoying my life, happily hop, skipping, and jumping, and that was, of course, until I fell. With my scraped knee, I sat defeated on the floor and looked up at my dad and cried. He simply looked down at me and said, "Try again." And now I'm looking at him like he's crazy. What do you mean, try again? I just scraped my knee on the floor. I must obviously suck at this. But I couldn't bring myself to tell him no. So with my scraped knee, I got back up on the bench, and with my dad by my side, I adjusted my stride and hopped across each bench until the row was finished. We then decided to go get pizza afterwards at my favorite restaurant. I think he might have felt a little bad about that one. At the time, I remember thinking that this was a punishment, but now I know that he was trying to teach me a lesson about failure, and I hope you all can take something from this too. Sometimes you're going to fall and scrape your knee, and it's going to suck really bad. It's going to be awful. But it's absolutely essential that you keep trying. You may learn that you need to adjust your plan, and that's okay too. It's all a part of the process. As long as you persevere and keep trying, success will always be on the horizon. So embrace failure and see it for what it really is, a sign of progress. My message to you all is to give whatever you do in undergrad everything you have. You all have a dream or a goal, and you must put your all into it. Now I'm talking blood, sweat, and tears here. And trust me, there will be plenty of obstacles and failures along the way. But those obstacles and failures only mean that you are one step closer to success. You have not truly failed until you stop trying. As Ellen DeGeneres once said, there will be times where you will fail and times where you will succeed, and both are equally as important. Remember, embrace failure and persevere through the obstacles life will present you, and nothing will be able to stop you from achieving greatness. Congratulations to the class of 2017. We made it.
Thank you, Khadijah. Right on. Exactly. At this time, we will recognize the accomplishments of our baccalaureate degree candidates. Dean Dake, please come forward for the presentation of our baccalaureate degree candidates from the Harpur College of Arts and Sciences.
Thank you, President Stenger. Pleasure to be back. We will now recognize the accomplishments of our baccalaureate degree candidates. First, we will recognize students who have achieved Latin honors. We recognize 3 levels of achievement: cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. The names of the candidates for these honors appear in the commencement program. Please take a look. Almost 600 Harpur College students are candidates for Latin honors. 600. So we will not announce each by name, but we shall recognize students attending today by having them stand in place. Candidates graduating cum laude, please rise. You may be seated. Candidates graduating magna cum laude, please rise. You may be seated. Candidates graduating summa cum laude, please rise. My congratulations to all of you on your outstanding academic achievements. Latin honors are based on a student's cumulative grade point average. Students who have earned the distinction of departmental honors or distinguished independent work have also achieved academic excellence and need to be recognized by the faculty in their major department. For those who have achieved departmental honors for distinguished independent work, please rise. Okay, I just want to point out that 2 of those kids out there did honors theses in my lab, Jamie Mondello, Maya Orlovsky. Shout out for integrative neuroscience, thank you. Will all baccalaureate degree candidates please rise? President Stenger, as the Dean of Harpur College, I am pleased to present you these candidates who have fulfilled all their baccalaureate degree requirements as prescribed by the faculty. Professor Gladys Jimenez, please join the President and me in greeting the degree candidates from the Department of Latin American and Caribbean American Studies. Student Marshal Gabrielle Sagese and School Marshal Anna Adlizio, please lead the candidates to the platform so that they all may receive recognition for their academic achievement.
Gabriela Joy Sages. Karina Flores. Riley A. Monk Rowley. Kenneth Walker. Brandon Xavier Jenkins. Christopher Francis Reyes. Thank you, Professor. Would Professor Beth Birch please join us to greet the candidates from Judaic Studies? Rachel Boylan. Thank you, Professor. Would Professor Michael McDonald please join me at the podium to receive the Global and International Affairs majors? Ali Barak Sarachula. Olas Ola Erdemir. Thank you, Professor McDonald. Will Professor Sidney Dement please join us to acknowledge the candidates in the individualized major program? Sidney Lee Rosen. Daniel Pentello. Emily A. Zelowitz. Benjamin M. Seitz. Samantha Lee Schoenfeld. Thank you, Professor. Would Professor Jeffrey Barker please join us to recognize the candidates from the Department of Geological Sciences? John Tyler Rowland, Alex Richmond, Mary E. Spencer, Michael John Solkonwich, John Clark Shadwick, Mark Kraus, Sean P. Finnegan, Patrick Johann Rubenbauer, Jillian B. Goldhagen, Stephen J. Tukanen Dunn, Ryan X. Malia. Thank you, Professor. Would Professor Douglas Click please join us to recognize the candidates from the linguistics program? Bryn E. Wilkinson, Stephanie E. Wolf, Kia Nagasawa, Tiffany Marie Lopez, Yasmin Stiff, Angelo Christopher Hurley, Brad Michael Busquet, Dong Xiao Sun, Regina A. Bell, Jenna R. Handel, Amanda Colleen Pearson, Chloe Faith Williams, Junxin Luo, Mitchell J. Abrams. Thank you, Professor. Would Professor Wong Yu from the Geography Department please recognize your majors? Nicholas James Perovich, Annie DeMuro, Kyle Jeffrey Wambold, Allison M. Longo, Alyssa Ewing James, Carney R. Burns III, Amanda Ray Rizzi, Tierra Andrea Ray, Alexandra Rose Quintana, Daniela Chinoso Madubuike, Sylvie N. Uden, Hannah Rachel Karumpas, Charles B. Goldberg, Tara Worrell, Miranda Rugova, Jaehyun Kim, Ji-Yun Lee, Frank Emmanuel Tolbert III, Li Shi, Isabella C. Castiglione, Mark Todd Barakov, Anthony Zuniga Hernandez, Akm Fajul Haik, Mark Santiago, Jeffrey David Twitty. Thank you, Professor. Would Professor Carl Lippo please join us to recognize the candidates from Environmental Studies program? Emily V. Earl, Alana C. Havernick, Emily Elizabeth Tierfelder, Austin Michael Overly, Christine Elizabeth Nering, Max N. Steinbeck, Bobby Ann Robinson, Ira Yusi, Claire A. Santa Coloma, Danielle Bridget Moyer, Mary Junkas, Benjamin J. Meritato, Shira N. Margulis, Danielle Marissa Bayer, Juliana Marie Ramirez, Stephen James Guarino, Eli Zuckerman, Vincent Wong, Annie Elizabeth Newberry, Chris Michelle Giovanni, Adam Richard Palmer. Gabrielle Sarah Graham. Lauren M. Burke. Kelly Rose Nunciata. April Celine O'Hara. Michael Christopher Zapata. Alexandra Shkreli. Jacqueline Ann Ryder. Ai Wu. Mohammed Khan. Chris Leantonio. Rosabel Tavares. Alex Michael Grabstein. Travis Buchholz. Vanessa Song. Marie Isabel Senami Kamaklo. Dana B. Kinnell. Eli Hunter Jacobson. Julia A. Tararan Casella. Katie M. Chen. Emily B. Pei. Philip Oliver Graydon. Ryan I. Blum. Christopher Joseph Ogden. Tyler Matthew Russa. Aubrey P. Ratz. Julia E. Faucon. Kathleen Ann Kittel. Sharon Ann Graziano. Adara Blaney. Thank you, Professor. Would Professor Elizabeth Castine please join us to recognize the candidates in history? Daniel J. Kirsten. Robert E. Smith. Anthony Brillantino. Alessandra Cristina Spada. Abraham Jerusalem. Zoe Katz. Victoria Canciatori. Melanie Grace. Ashley P. Cohen. Princess Joseph. Janand Dazir. Dale Christopher Jameson. Carly Fitzpatrick. Sabrina Reichart. Jiajun Su. Jessica R. Siegel. Jenna Alexis Spack. Dylan M. Cupo. Nicole Murphy. William A. Winnick. Benjamin Edward Pattis. Jeffrey Alexander Roth. Nicholas Christopher Poulakos. Rachel G. Blayfeder. Lindsay Marie Sabato McClafferty. Lori Beth Greenblatt. Nash Warren Bassett. Stephen D. Seiden. Angela Papageorgiou. Isabel Littman. Aaron M. Dugan. Brian Ochieng Olu. Liling Victoria Rivera. Devin M. O'Brien. Thomas Joseph Carr. Nathaniel L. Goldman. Daniel Philip Wicks. Daniel Luke Mahler. Harry Lubitz. Eric Michael Timlin. Jordan R. Scott. Monica Kwan. Michelle Dorothy Flug. Daniel Deoki. Alicia Audrey Forzano. Cami A. Saracino. Amanda Marie De La Rosa. Nida Anne Marie Sears. Thomas John Brooks. Kayleen Christine Dunn. Tyler John Stackpole. Ryan Christopher Clow. Dennis Joseph Walsh II. Joshua Pernick. Kayla B. Epstein. Jordan T. Majewski. Thank you, Professor. Would Professor Monica Mehta from the English Department please join us to recognize your majors? Robert Leslie Brunswick III. Stephanie Catherine Karinsik. Khalid Olufemi Vrede. Angelica Rivera. Molly Krevling. Leah Marie Fish. Stephen LaBarbera. Kathy Hay. Juliana C. D'Amico. Elizabeth Ann Manning. Leanne Minkoff. Howard Valverde Hecht. Philip M. Cornelius. Christopher J. Lyons. Patrick Donald Corrigan. Colleen Rose Curry. Sophia Gabrielle Scopatone. Bianca Michelle Anderson. Yong Il Kwang. Heirin Yim. Eva L. Francavilla. Naomi Nicole Bauer. Tiffany S. McMillan. Pellet Waldron. Peter Brockwell. Kyle Patrick McDonald. Matthew Lewis Roberts. Woodson Valentino Agte. Taylor Irene Dowd. Olivia Dennison. Marissa Ann Gorenflo. Christopher A. Young. Allison Faith Sutton. Timothy Corin Bobrowski. Rylan Sylvester. Odea Rebecca Pincus. Alexandra K. Makoff. Willa Saradsky. Rebecca G. Clark. Mary Catherine Kelly. Alana O. Francis. Shoshana Traum. Victoria Marie Harding. Yi Zhu. Travis E. Kleins. Joseph Angelo Barberio. Andrew B. Shaw. Emily Rebecca Lederman. Jessica L. Feldman. Alexa Vincenza Tomaso. Catherine A. Myers. Jacqueline Lent. Hannah Choi. Rachel Lee. Carrie Barbara Moroff. Ashley Ewart. Michael Timothy Mayers. Emily Chu. Isabella Bruno. Camilla Veronica Texi. Shervin C. Mohajeri. Charles Harry Novoth. Marie Siraka. Lily C. Schulberg. Tyler James Weingarten. Melissa A. Wicks. Hannah Lael Rosen. Daniel A. Gelbwaks. Ashley Yura Shin. Francis A. Brady. Alyssa L. Weldon. Carly Ann Klein. Samuel Titus. Alexandra Vanessa Miguel. Luis M. Rubio. Derica Burwell. Sophia A. Acosta. Casey Ann Heed. Jacob David Snyder. Nicole Bergold. Daniel Jacob Miller Brickner. Austin C. O'Donnell. Alexandra Papachena. William Edward Villano. Amanda Ray Graziano. Hannah Patricia Lugtu. Emily Nicole McKay. Alana Sarah Weber. Thomas James Betty. K. Manfredi. Jessica C. Corey Goldberg. Emily Cohen. Golan. Jennifer Anafrio. Corey Evans. Brandon Floyd Rich. Matthew Francis Contino. Haralambos Casapidis. Jazz Taylor Guillet. Georgia Equele Saki. Emily A. Coleman. Aaron Nathan Schwartz. David Spencer Ostern. Ariel Kutcher. Cody Korsandi. Teddy Jarnitsky. Mackenzie Delisle. Kyung-Hoon Kim. Daniela Marson. Brittany Seidman. Seth I. Finkelstein. Derek Jen. Madeline Nina Stupek. Molly Jiang Lenahan. Christina Bartis. Cassandra June Denning. Jeremy Goff Williams. Kevin H. Coe. Matthew Edward Bloom. Ryan M. Grunfelder. Erica Christine Fries. Raymond T. Cass. Arthur John Seltenreich. Miriam P. Afcom. Jaewon Kim. Minyoung Lee. Ayung Shim. Minsung Kim. Junsang Pak. Sinead C. Lucy. Christian Joseph Macaluso. Gabriel Huang. Ama Odutwa. Naima A. Labaik. Alana Shanice Benton. Ariel Grace Hunt. Trey Bonaparte. Prince Ollie Grant. Damali Lambert Bessor. Robert K. Adusi. Elise Morris. Dante Signor. Thank you, Professor Wood. Professor Patricia Di Lorenzo from Integrative Neuroscience. Please come forward to welcome your majors. Justin David Heller. Michael W. Dolan. Joshua M. Glynn. Curran Cower. Ariana Kiran Goberdan. Alexander Kritchmar. Patrick T. Delena. Wendy Sierra Yakovich. Raya K. Bernhardt. Arthur Natera. Serge Yves Tomasini Jr. Anna Shapiro. Lillian Chu. Tohar Scheininger. Maya Lynn Orlovsky. Sean J. John. Juyang Zhang. Alexander M. Grieshaber. Ira Minel Domingo. Hannah Margaret Primo. Trevor Rivers McCafferty Wilkinson. Gabriella E. Hall. Kimberly May Diano Sultan. Jessica R. Chumsky. Ann N. Taylor. Crystal Tasberg. Freddie A. Sedino. Amanda Margaret Longo. Justin Ryan Chernick. Brian Sean Trusley. Patricia G. Cholakis. Stacy Davis. Thomas Nguyen. Erica Shu Zeng. Anana N. Kazi. Saima Khan. Kiruthi Yagini Sivane Sathan. Ted E. Vakluvender Jr. Ryan Benjamin Mirchin. Jason Murphy. Caitlin Schott. Rashawn Govantes. Magana M. Valupali. Kimberly Nancy Washburn. Emma Suzanne Ryan. Sabrina Smakovic. Justin Goldman. Chloe Emily Siracco. Nicole Elaine Keefe. Lily Sabrina Rubin. Lauren Nicole Kasmerek. Joseph Luke Simon. Dana M. Norton. Lavon Anthony Volpe. Samuel V. Hans. Jenna Morgan Hare. Ilana G. Bandler. Nigel Downer. Jacob Matthew Scharf. Lee G. Vitello. Sam Neil Schwartzwald. Andrew S. Orfich. Jigar Gosalia. Jesse Micah Cole. Sarah Lam. Gabriela Velez. Kevin Morales. Giancarlo Israel Jordan. Joyce Soto. Gina Perez. M. Seth Owitz. Caitlin E. Doherty. Michael Ferrari. Kyle A. Press. Ronik Senon. Alec G. Hagano. Christopher John Wood. Blakely May Schiffman. Valerie Winter. Ayumi Shibata. Debbie Sora Shin. Victoria Nicole Lena. Nathan J. Rothstein. Leo A. Meja. Casey L. Britta. Kellyanne Corrado. Joseph Gerard Michelli. Cameron Manor Black. Despina Leotis. Eleni Michelle Florakis. Rachel Nabesire Miremba Lubinga. Uchenna Stephanie Oklapolor. Khadija Collins. Jasmine K. Oduro. Urena C. Wogugu. Tina Hunre Lee. Nori Ayen. Mumtahena Henan. Sarah Grace Wong. Christopher M. McKeever. Leah Saliba. Diana Y. Situ. Calvin Chen. Sharon Lee. Christina Abbey. Ashley A. Berletic. Justin Hong. Alec G. Miller. Kevin Michael Chialfi. Carolyn Marie Atlas. Yu Yi Tan. Sophie Lynn Portnoy. Alejandro Ortiz. Brando Fermin. Jamie Mondello. Kieran Thomas Murphy. Nicole Sala. Morgan Elizabeth Nagy. Nicholas J. Grafeo. Tae Sung Kim. Joseph David Marinelli. Asim Dar. Liam Flanagan. Christopher Anthony D'Amico. Sean W. Dooley. Jason R. Friedman. Daniel Raphael Friedman. Tegan Ann Buscemi. Catherine Kumari Lumba. Carolyn Jean Weiss. Claire Bridget Hughes. Brittany Alexis Cutler. Rachel Hella Hentz. Madeline Rose Flick. Joseph X. Rodriguez. Christina M. Parducci. Stephanie L. Vogel. Molly D. Sherwood. Justin Ware. Jenny Mary George. Jessica Phillip. Asha Anthony. Rashid Akeem Michael Thompson. John Gerard Kelly. Gary Xavier Gravesandi Jr. Justin May. Angela N. Deo. Shaquille Abdin. Eric T. Wenwen Chen. Michelle Wen. Anastasia Zagurskaya. Alpha J. Chen. Luisa Mirelka Ferreras. Anthony Joseph Sansota. Gabrielle Victoria Avias. Andre Luis Vega Jr. Ra'ad Shaikh. Gregory Scott Berger. Jennifer Lynn Calabrese. Nicolette A. DiMartino. Nicole Ann Doyle. Jenna M. Palazzolo. Luisa Maria Jaramillo. Laura Sanande. Alina Sardana. Jeremy Leong. Tala M. Barrios. Laura Patricia Crespo. Molly Rose Duffy. Jessica De Jesus. Baran Kumar Gara. Kayla I. Anderson. Olwafemi O. Umokoro. Prince Alorm Kwashi. Reginald Bernard. Andre Eli Kasak. Caroline P. Krupa. Mary Catherine Horan. Alexandra P. Dykesler. Erin Taylor McNulty. Jocelyn Marie Pentek. Sharon C. Bossert. Ashley Serlanis. Amanda N. Iorizzo. Nina Marie Kosak. Zier Brianna Linton. Chelsea Lindor. Dana D. Douglas. Luigi Michel. Kiera Elizabeth Mouzon. Tara Yvonne Lamb. Jessica S. Wasserman. Jacqueline Kate Compta. Erica L. Carr. Jillian Helene Melnick. Haley Lyons Gardino. Deep Upendra Prajapati. Nicole Danielle Bunier. Fong Yep. Catherine Mary Brophy. Erica A. Marinelli. Stephanie M. Berry. Emily Jean Porcario. Rachel A. Moshman. Emma Catherine Min Bernier. Maureen Sullivan. Beatrice Elizabeth Cruz. Cara Osorio. Jonathan Salas. Evan Thomas Riley. Ryan Jack O'Rourke. Mercedes Bell. Daniel Marciano. Matthew Normand. Reed M. Portnoy. Lawrence Jonathan Benin. Don J. Yeri. Cassandra Hewney. Colleen Marie Lawrence. Tammy J. Kedman. Ariana Myberg. Danielle L. Jerome. Aaron Lee Eitzen Klotnia. Eva Chen. And Amanda Huang.
Will all baccalaureate degree candidates please rise? President Stenger, I am honored to present to you these candidates for the baccalaureate degree by the university.
For those who have successfully completed all degree requirements by the authority vested in me by the Chancellor and the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York and the Board of Regents of the University of the State of New York, I confer on each of you the appropriate baccalaureate degree with all the rights and privileges accompanying it. On behalf of the Binghamton University community, I congratulate you all for this well-earned accomplishment. As is customary, upon conferral of the baccalaureate degree, you may now move the tassel on your cap from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, parents, partners, and friends, I present to you the Binghamton University Harpur College of Arts and Sciences, class of 2017.
Everyone, please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your hats as we sing the Binghamton University alma mater. We invite everyone to join in singing the refrain and the second verse. The lyrics may be found on the back cover of the commencement program. The spring commencement proceedings of the State University of New York at Binghamton are now concluded. We kindly ask the audience to remain seated for the academic recessional. Once the academic recessional is completed, please exit as soon as you are able to allow the families of the next ceremony graduates to enter.